Yes, we should be live. Maybe. Possibly. Definitely. No, yes. We are live. Hello and welcome everyone to the 13th episode of our totally non-cursed 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign called Roaches. Today's recap will be the same procedure as last session. By Lodwick.
Hello and good evening, everyone. So, the last time we saw our protagonists, they were inside a cave or a cellar, a basement, some underground place, where they heard footsteps of beings coming down. Clark and Mel went hiding behind the dais that was on the center of the room, on which the elven undead royal being deposited his crown. So Arahant was the only one in plain sight. He used one of his abilities to cast see invisibility, and thus revealed in front of his own eyes that the two voices came from two quasits.
Imps.
Those are little demonic pests, for those who are not familiar with the bestiary of Dungeons and Dragons.
Those were imps, not quasits.
Were it not quasits?
They were imps, not quasits.
Imps. Oh, my apologies.
Biggest difference is, like, I think quasits have like innate poison or something like that.
I mean,
Yeah,
the
so,
difference is a quasit that's like a demon and an imp is a
And
devil.
imps are devils.
Mm.
Yeah, those were
Which
like...
could explain why they were talking infernal instead of and not abyssal.
Yeah, and why they were basically spying on you for the Duke.
So they're little demonic pests. They were apparently not very bright, and when confronted by Arahant that he could see them, they quickly turned into ravens and tried to convince him that they were not imps but ravens, which of course could not fool Arahant, because he saw them and he saw them transform before his eyes. They finally admitted it, and also admitted that they were servants of the Duke, sent to keep watch of our party, and to see that we were keeping our part of the bargain with the Duke, which was getting the crown. And that's the crown that is now resting on the dais behind which Mel and Clark are hiding. After that, the two others, Clark and Mel, left their hiding place, and a little discussion started, and they convinced the imps to go away and leave them be. And voila. They had some deliberation between themselves, and between themselves, I mean Clark, Mel, and Arahant. And they decided to first go to the small settlement to deliver the Ashleys to the Koatoa healer, and then going to the Duke with the crown for keeping their part of the bargain. When leaving the basement, Arahant saw that the imps were still present, Um, and making the best of it, knowing that they were being observed, they decided to keep a low profile and to advance as silently as possible. And with silently, I mean not trying to divulge too much of their intentions. Um, there was a entering. They entered the settlement, and they astonished the healer with the abundance of Ashleys, and they received as thanks some healing potions as an additional request to, if they they wanted to, they could also go get some ash drake feces for her, but only if they had spare time to do so, being not a number one priority. At the home of the healer, the party discussed what their next course of action would be. And Clark declared there and then that he wanted to keep the crown for himself and not give it to the Duke. Being prepared to undergo the several trials that would be needed to be done to be seen and recognized as the rightful owner and thus bearer of the crown. Mel and Arahant wanted to keep their bargaining with the Duke, on the other hand, fearing that as the Duke has quite some influence and is probably quite a powerful being, that it may not be the wisest course of action to keep the crown from him if they didn't want to get hurt or have some punishment dealt upon them. On which Clark sought some counsel from his rock Dio on those matters and decided that based on the counsel of his rock, he would keep the crown. That put him at odds with the rest of the party, who tried to reason with him, but to no avail. Finally, Clark chose his own path and went his own way with the crown, without much about Mel and Arhan could do about it. So we had a splitting of the party, and while Clark is going on his own quest to perform the trials to become king, Mel and Arahant returned to the Duke to explain everything what happened there. Much to the surprise of both Mel and Arahant, the Duke was quite civil about this predicament and told what was left of the party that they did well considering the circumstances, and that for the moment they were free to pursue their own endeavors, and that he will call on them when he would need of their services again. And so Mel and Arahant spent some time off to do both their things, and that's where the session ended.
Yes. So,
That's good.
now we're actually starting the session with what happened in the downtime. So, and for that, I would want to start with Mel. And, I mean, I already know them, but, know your plans for what to do, basically, but, what did you do during your downtime?
For the most part, just sat and worked on my crossbow, Abigail, redesigning and improving the initial concept, as well as making some new sort of bolts to fit into it to give me some various properties and uses in different cases. And anytime I had left after that was just plying my trade, doing repairs, woodworks for people, making bolts and arrows, etc.
Yes, so, I would want to start by doing basically one your woodworker's tools, right? Or do you have tinkers? No, you have woodworker, right?
Not both.
Oh, you actually do have both. So, for the amount of time taken for the improvement, I would want you to make a roll with both. And you can still use dexterity if you want, which you probably do.
X. Do the tinker's tools first. And then the wood carvers.
Yeah, you actually get to most of your improvements and new ammunitions and stuff in a breeze. Though, while attaching the rapid fire mechanism, which I'm assuming contains quite a lot of. Let me not get the word wrong this time. Yes, contains quite a lot of sprockets. You you can't help but feel a little bit drawn to a particular item in your bag.
Okay. Check it out. What has my eye?
I'm assuming you already know, because I specifically mentioned a sprocket.
Yeah, I figured it's the item I got from helping the Duke's air conditioning.
Yes.
Yeah, the part of the artificial heart, I think is what it was. We eventually figured out.
You may be thinking to yourself, this coincidentally has the exact right size for what I currently need, even though you obviously do also have like normal sprockets for it, but it would fit, and it seems
That's
to
it.
be quite. It seems to be some kind of artifact.
Saves me filing, shaving down. So I'll just file what I need and then fit it into place.
Yes, and with that, for now, it just really pulls the whole improvement together, and you may actually make Abigail a +1 crossbow.
Yeah.
And like an actual magical +1 crossbow, so it actually is able to injure or to overcome those resistances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just making sure I do the right thing on it.
I think you just need to add the magical bonus one. Yeah.
That's what I figured. I only do it once so it doesn't double apply it.
Exactly. Yeah. And then for the rest of the time you're just doing the odd job basically. Then give me another Tinker Tool check. You can go with Dex again.
Okay.
Yes. In addition to your to just paying for your accommodations, you also in total make five. Why am I so bad at talking right now? It's 76 gold coins, or 7 platinum coins, 6 gold coins.
Platinum just to make it simpler.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Alahand.
Well, Arahant went first hitting the library. If there is one in town, I suppose that the Manor of the Duke can deposit them on several different places.
Yes.
So
So you would actually have been able to find a town with a library, yes.
And was searching and trying to find some more information and some literature about the great catfish of wisdom and religion in general, or religion in general and the great catfish of wisdom specifically. And besides that, he would also try and go to several. I don't know if you have something like churches or temples or chapter houses or something like that in or religious communities in your world.
Yeah.
But he would go to things that are well, centers of worship, and trying to find to learn more about what it entails to be a cleric of a deity. If is it something that is it something that you choose you choose, or are you being chosen, or and things like that. And he also had several or has several questions about the fact that the visions he had since being a child, if they were natural or not, and if so, if they were already inspired by higher beings, meaning that his fate was already predetermined by either the great catfish of wisdom or by other great powers, or that his fate for becoming a cleric only came afterwards, and that his abilities to be able to see the future was just a fluke of being born. Call it a genetic mutation or something like that, if you want. So that's the things he. But pertaining as everything that is religious, it's still quite it remains nebulous. and he did get some answers and some clarifications, but much of it is still remaining a mystery to him.
Yes.
And maybe that's the purpose.
Regarding those answers and clarifications, we did those off stream because it was like a 1 hour discussion.
Yes, indeed.
And I wouldn't want to do that here. But there has also been something different that happened during the time you were away.
Ooh.
And
I'm quaking in my boots.
yes, you have been having a repeated pattern of dreams. And they all involve a man who he seems familiar to you, but you can't quite you can't quite figure out from where you find him familiar. But all those dreams, in some ways, start off like normal dreams and then just at some point involving him showing up and either attempting to stab you, shoot you, you know, the usual murder implements. And maybe like after a time trying to, dig through your mind. Maybe give me how would you dig through your mind? I would say maybe an investigation or insight.
Mm-hmm. Where is my character sheet? Hum, pum, pum. Oh, no. That was not my purpose. Pum, 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 investigation or insight. Well, both have the same.
Yeah.
Would it be? Would it be more of a? If it's more like if your purpose of this role is more like trying to let him remember something, then I would suggest doing the investigation bit because it's more about rationale and intelligence. But if your purpose is more to have a trying to have a feeling of what it means or something like that, then it would be more something like insight, having some insight into the meanings of all those dreams. What is the purpose of your role?
Yes, maybe you decide which of those two methods you want to employ more.
Let's say that he will use or he will use investigation. He has been a wizard most of his life, so he would
Yeah.
his default would be the trying to rationalize everything as a wizard would.
Yes, and your your you're pretty sure you remember him actually met him relatively recently even, but just relatively. He's but also your memory of him is too is spongy the word? Maybe. Or spotty, I guess would be the actual word. Too too spotty for him to for you to assume that he's someone you really talked to a lot.
Mhm. It remains just a face that he has already seen somewhere, but he cannot put the dots on the eye.
Yes, and as you get a little bit further into your investigating, you
In his brain.
yes, the dreams start to change.
Hold on.
The dreams,
That's a first one.
yes, they from him showing up and attacking you. It's now you just walking somewhere and then seeing him lying somewhere, um, bleeding, and he always seems to have. He always seems to have. Let me not get this wrong because that would be very unfortunate. Apparently, I can't type. No, I can't. No, I can type. I'm actually stupid. It should be here. Yeah. And he always has two stab wounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And where would those wounds be?
They change over different
Oh,
dreams.
okay.
It's always
But
two.
it's always two stab wounds somewhere.
Yes.
Okay. He is puzzled, but quite but a bit shaken about the fact that the dream has been changing as more as he was thinking about it, because that's the first time something like that happened. So if he had some questions, he has some more right now.
Yes.
Divination. The art of divination, or the school of divination, is really an art. Maybe it's not meant to be understood fully.
And after a few months, you get a message, a letter. You both do. And it bears the Duke's sigil. Um, and it just it's kept very short, as it just reads hello, your services are needed again. I have more information at the manor. End of message. Anyone
I
want?
was doing. Yeah, sorry, I was doing math there, but yeah, I mean, head towards the manor if I get that note.
And I'm assuming Everhand does the same.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. And as you arrive at the manor, you are led into the dining room as per usual. With the Duke sitting there, and of course greets you and says, "So, there has been some rather suspicious activity uh, coming to my attention. Um, most recently, and he well, there wouldn't really be a newspaper, so I guess he just I guess he would just say it and not pull out a newspaper. Or maybe he uses
Sort of like scrying magic or something
yeah,
like that.
basically to repeat a message. And it's basically a town crier um, saying uh, corruption. Merchants have been selling spoiled food. Uh, the mayor eject. Did you just hear that? No, just in
Hear what?
actuality, was that loud enough for you to hear that? Because no, there was just someone with loud music outside, and it kinda
No,
messed with my flow.
no, I didn't hear anything.
No, me
Um,
neither.
corruption. Merchants have been selling spoiled food. Uh, the mayor declared them to be enemies to our town and ejected them from the warehouses. Um, then another message about the mayor holding a speech about basically the merchants guilds being unnecessary and tricking the people with inferior wares and basically kicking all the guilds out of Berg. And then an even later one talking about the warehouses have been falling, about how the warehouses and old guild quarters have been falling into disrepair. Um, and how basically thugs and the like have settled into them. Now it's the Duke speaking again. I do have the feeling that this might have something to do with our cult. The the servants of a Kishigal are known for trying to tear down societies basically not necessarily from the top, but by always trying to destroy
Undermine the
who's
system.
what?
Undermine the system.
Not even that. Always going after those they perceive as above them, but not to take anything from them or really use it, but just to tear everything down to the level of the slums they come from. So, therefore, I would like you to investigate. But I already hear you asking. I am aware that you are currently in a predicament with the law of the Berg. And I have an old friend that might help you with your disguise and also with something else. Because I see your little group of adventurers have been reduced in number by a lot.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And I have arranged with him that to make up for your reduced manpower, he will grant to you a very special weapon. And I would just need you to deliver this to him, and he hands you a gemstone.
Any way that we'll identify him, or he make himself known to us?
Yeah, we should probably just start by he lives a little ways, or not just a little ways, a lot of ways, pretty far away from here. Though my though obviously you will be able to get there quickly via the manor. He is quite the character though, and he prefers to live far out of town. And when I say he is an old friend, I mean a very, very old friend.
Okay, so we're looking for a very old person, a man. Is there anything else to go on?
And by old, I mean we were already friends before I was, before I left the Tyrant City.
So he may not be looking his age, is what you're saying.
He may not just not be looking his age. He may be looking quite devilishly handsome, you might say.
That's literally what I'm typing. Devilishly handsome contact. Male contact.
I suppose he would be of some fiendish nature.
How could you have guessed?
Oh, well. I am quite intelligent.
Well, do we make our way there immediately? Is travel arrangements made, or how do you want us to proceed?
I would want you to go there immediately. I have a carriage ready for you. Though
Right
it
then.
will only take you down the road, and he lives quite the while off-road.
It won't be my first time trekking in the woods. We should be able to handle ourselves. We've done so before. I'm good to be in your company again and look towards Arhan.
Indeed.
So, as you leave the manor, you find yourself in a new town with a carriage with... Is it called a chauffeur when it's a carriage? No, it's just a driver, right?
How should I describe the gem that he gave us to deliver?
The
What
gem
did he
that he gave you to deliver. You know what? I would say that would be for Maurice to decide.
Oh, okay.
It seems to look like a pretty clear diamond, not but it's roundly shaped, not entirely blue or completely clear, more of like a purple with a with almost like a heart beating pulse in the middle of it in a different color that I'm not sure that slightly changes over time, but at the moment is pure red.
Clear, purplish. I don't know if that's a word, but round diamond with pulsating red heart. Sound accurate?
There isn't a heart inside of it. It's just a red light pulsating like.
Like a heart. Okay, gotcha.
It's beating pretty fast.
Red light. Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Yes, and you enter the carriage, and your travel into the woods, or out of town and into the woods, begins. And normally I would use this time for a little bit of like small talk between the characters, but I think I would like to just...
I'm fine waiting a bit longer.
I don't know. It's up to you if you guys want to actually talk to each other, talk about what your characters are talking about to each other on your ride, or just...
No. Well, I mean, if we do so, but the first immediately apparent thing would be that my crossbow looks different, and then as soon as Arhan's eyes would go to it, Mel would go on a tangent about all the upgrades he did and everything.
Well, if the change on Abigail is significant, and with significant I mean that for one who has seen Abigail before in earlier version, the Mark One, let's say it that way.
Hmm.
If the Mark II is remarkably different, then yes, he would comment on it,
Yeah, definitely
saying
is.
something like, "Oh, you did improvements to your lady."
Yeah, I decided to give her a whole once over, give a little bit of facelift.
Has her
Not-
tongue
Go ahead.
being sharpened even more?
Sharper and quicker.
Oh,
But to describe it, it looks more kind of like I guess our characters wouldn't know what a revolver looks like, but the piston in the center of it looks like a revolver. And it has the bolts the way it can cycle through them.
mm-hmm. A kind of like a steampunk-like revolver or something like that.
Yeah, I'll post the picture that I gave John in the.
It's
Mm.
it just has a lot of tech on it.
Okay.
I have another idea with what I'm going to do in the little middle part you see under there at the front of it, but I'll get to that later.
So it's a work in progress then.
Oh yeah, prototype.
But I am how do you say it in English? I'm I am I am waiting to see it I'm waiting to see her into action.
As am I.
You didn't test her?
Other than calibrations and shooting targets, not the same as adventuring like we've done in the past.
It's true. It's true. Jan, may I? I suppose because we are a few months away now. May I roll my portent dice again?
Yes, it's definitely a different day.
Please roll it for every single day that you've been away.
Yeah.
Come on.
How's your luck been?
Okay. So a couple of months. Let's say 3 months. So 30 with a
No,
general.
don't think about it. Just roll them for today.
Okay.
Like 92 d20s.
Yeah, depends on the months. And I haven't
That's
told
why I
them.
averaged.
A 12 and a 4.
Seems like useful enemy dice, I guess. At least the
Yeah, he
4.
Yeah.
Well, it
Even the
depends.
12 you can. Yeah, even the 12 you can. flip
If
on
you
a
have
crit.
if you have a good bonus to attack, the 12 can be.
True.
I mean, the average,
So-
like, the. I would consider like a +4, like the low average for to hit, and even then it hits most things.
Because right now, with just proficiency and you being all right at whatever your
Yeah.
weapon is, should be +6.
Yeah.
It would still be an 18. You never know.
Yep.
Could come in handy.
Yeah. Would hit most things. Indeed. Yes, and if that's all you talk about, then you continue your travels until the coachman motions for you to step outside.
This is like a full like coach, like we're inside of it, not like a
Yeah.
wagon. Yeah, okay. And then hop on out. Step down the little stairs that it has on it.
He just tells you that he will wait for you at basically the last village you came through, and that it's just down that way into the forest. Can't miss it. I guess can miss it if you get lost in the forest, but you probably won't.
What's the it that we're looking for? Oh no, is that we're looking for an old guy?
He...
Does the abode look like?
It's actually quite the large house. Not quite the size of the Duke's villa, of course, but definitely reasonable for a wealthy gentleman.
Should it stick out like a sore thumb?
Yes, you don't find that many big abodes in a forest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you come upon one, you can assume that it's the correct one.
Well, thank you for your time and getting us this far.
Indeed, thank you very much.
Like I
Think
said,
I'll
I will
leave.
wait for you in town.
Well then, Mel, let's hit the road. And I mean the forest road, the forest trail.
That we should. And take off walking.
Yes, and it isn't long until you just basically keeping your... not keeping your walking straight. Basically by just walking in a relatively straight line, you actually come upon a big house. I'm not going to use the word bricular again to describe a house. Because that's not an actual shape, I think. But it's like your typical, like, L-curve shape. You know, it's one of those houses with, like, that goes like this and then like this. Maybe I should do it in a way that actually aligns with the camera. Like, you have this, and then it goes like this. Like an L-curve shape.
Yeah, I think I know what you're going for.
With, like, actual proper roofing. It looks like it might even be 3 stories tall. So it's quite the house.
Mm-hmm.
And there's I wouldn't say concerning, but unusual amount of smoke coming out of the chimneys.
If it's just coming out of the chimney, then that's
Yeah.
not as foreboding.
Yeah,
When it's
indeed.
other places, it's like, hey.
If it's coming from the roof, then maybe.
Yeah.
What the fuck? That's just so murky. Okay. Just walk up to it. What looks to be like the front door ish of it?
Yeah, like usual with these kinds of houses, the front door is basically on the end of the shorter side. Or do you actually mean a description of the door?
I guess both, but
The door is flanked by 2 windows. It's like up a little stairway. and there's no like big fence or gate outside, with or you and just a normal door knocker, and not those that massive devil's head giant ring thing that the Duke has.
Fair. Yep, and I will proceed upstairs and give a firm knock on the door knocker.
Yeah. You then hear someone yelping. Then you hear a small noise. Then you hear someone cursing in a foreign language. Or our hand actually speaks Infernal, I think, right? Or at least you would be able to recognize Infernal.
No, he would not only recognize it but also understand it because he has Infernal amongst the languages.
Yes. Then you hear someone cursing in Infernal, which might involve some heavier curse words than mortal tongues. So I will not attempt to translate. Before one of the windows flanking the front door opens, and a small plume of smoke escapes. Before, with a cough, you see what more or less looks like a horned devil with his face covered in soot opening the door.
Hello there.
Hello there. Who?
We have business with the host of this place.
Oh. Yes, then you're talking to the correct person. Yeah, his his main distinguishing feature that would make him look different from any other horned devil in looks, other than being covered in soot right now, is that his horns are grown together into what kind of looks like a combination of an anvil, like one of those anvils with a spike only on one side, and that kind of anvil mixed with like the Elvis hairstyle, with like the spike very curly.
Yeah, he's got his nice pompadour going on, like elongated pompadour.
Then I will have to inform you that my name is Gemini, the last remaining commander of the Caged Duke, though my friends call me Jim.
Right? Do you think of us as friends then?
I don't know. What kind of business do you have with me?
As far as I'm aware, we're supposed to be delivering an item.
Then, may I see that item?
I mean, you can, but I figure it'd be more polite to do it inside.
Of course. Come in. Although the air might be quite rough right now. I was just cooking and may have burned something.
Lead the way.
Yeah, and as you are bidded in, you come. You go through a hallway with the doors flanking it, some closed, some opened. Many of them actually heavy-duty iron doors. Behind the opened ones, revealing like workbenches, forges, tinkers' workshops, all that kind of things.
Interesting to me.
Then,
Inquire about that later.
and he leads you to what may have once been a living space, but by now is also just covered in turntables. One of the dining table being like repurposed with like a drill attached to it. On the sofa, there's like multiple weapons lying around. And I'm quite sorry for the mess. I think I should still have some usable chairs lying around. Let me see. And he goes over to a pile of like various just iron things and grabs what can best be described as just a pile made of clockwork and just iron bars, and basically unfolds that into a chair and repeats that action before mentioning for you to sit down.
Very interesting craft you have there. And proceed to sit down.
Yes,
Arhant will do the same.
Hmm?
Arhant will do the same.
I guess someone has to keep up the boss's traditions. That's the word. Craft. That's the. I didn't even want to say traditions. It's just crafts or craft.
Well, as a man of the craft myself, I respect keeping traditions as well as different innovations that stand the test of time.
Yes. Though you said you are bringing a. I'm assuming it's not just a gift, but you are bringing something for me.
I'll procure the gem. This was what we're supposed to do, right? Like I'm not just remembering wrong.
Yes.
Okay. I will procure the clear purplish diamond thing. Yeah, round that. What? Yeah, that thing. Just pulling it out.
Ah, you are the guy that Ashwhite wanted to send over. Oh, that was the name that he goes by right now, right? Ah, yes. It must be Ashwhite. Am I right?
Yes, you are.
Cool. Then I am quite right in saying that it's not a gift because this actually involves more of a gift from me to you than the other way around. Let me actually get him out of the cellar. and
Okay then.
he disappeared for a few minutes before coming back up carrying um, a mechanical body that Maurice also might be best equipped to describe.
I can do you even better. I have a picture, and I shall describe it right afterwards, so you guys can see the picture in the Friday stream game. And those of you watching the edited version, I'll just put it on screen.
I mean, I can also just put it right next to your,
That would be awesome, and I shall change my name as well. What you're seeing is a very robust-looking warforged. He is kind of like in between the attires of a usual barbarian or a detective, like somewhere in between those two. His eyes are currently empty, and the only thing that he has on him is he has a like iron grip that is almost unable to be let go of a great club in his left hand, actually. His right hand on the other side is just empty by his hip, where you can also see a small crossbow. He has silvery skin, and you do not see any hair on his head. However, there's also the point of him wearing like a little hat that is very akin to that of a detective, making it pretty much unable to determine 100% if he is bald or just hiding some sort of attached hair. But you're very, very sure he is Warforged.
Okay. And he was just brought up to us, or did he walk up to us?
He was. Jim was basically carrying him up the stairs.
Okay. It's a strange item you have there.
Yes, quite strange. Made it myself, actually. Just for this kind of occasion. May I then? You already did you just show him the gem, or did you actually hand it to him?
You're supposed to deliver it to him, so yeah. I would have initially showed it, and as soon as he okayed with like, yep, that's what I'm supposed to take, then if he reached for it, I would hand it to him.
Yeah. So he then proceeds to grab a screwdriver and just unscrew a few things, open something, then put the heart in, or the heart-like gem, I guess. Screw everything back up before just. Oh.
Please tell me he steps aside.
I was thinking about turning you on with a zip line or something, just like an old lawnmower, but he can also just step aside.
I am fine with like stepping to the side and then ripping the mower thing.
Yes,
Takes a
then he
few
does
starts.
that. Indeed.
When he first rips it, you see his eyes like just kind of flicker red, and then go back out again. On the second attempt, they flicker a bit brighter red, and on the third attempt, they glow fully red. Who would be the one closest to in front of me?
Past him, it'd be me, because I was the one to hand it to him.
All right,
the gem
what's
to
your
him.
AC?
What was it? Sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
What's your AC?
Like 16, I think.
All right. The moment he boots up, he seems to still be in a blind rage and uses his great club to swing at the thing that is closest to his line of sight, which in this case is Mel. That's a 24 to hit.
That'll do it.
Wait, need to apply my rage damage. I don't know why it's rolling twice. It's just the left one, so 8 damage. Bludgeoning.
May I intervene?
You
I think you rolled the d20 twice.
yeah, you rolled to hit again.
The left one is the first one every time. That's why I'm always choosing the left one.
I
Well,
don't
you
know.
you
No,
didn't
you
click
just-
the damage on it.
You just rolled to hit a second time.
Yeah, you
Mhm.
Yeah, those are
click
all
it.
hit rolls. Those are all d20s.
1 sec, let me try again.
You need to click the word in chat.
Yeah, quick right club.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens when you don't play for like a few weeks or more like a month.
So never mind, that's 10 damage.
Yeah. Immediately drawing Abigail.
Well, it's a bit difficult with the fact that we cannot see the dice being rolled unless we see the because it shows the end result.
You
But,
can mouse over them.
But may I intervene
Oh,
for
that you mean.
substituting the 18 with a 4, making it a 10 total to hit.
Yes, in that case it would miss, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah.
You do miss.
Back to full, baby.
So the moment when the well
The
how do you
club.
call it? Well, the sling thing is being the construct is being activated by pulling at the string, like
I think whipcord
as
is
you
the
said,
word, right?
Maybe like a
whipcord.
ripcord.
Okay. The moment that the eyes start to flash, the first one it flashes and then goes out. Arahant receives also a flash of something that he remembers. Is a bit confused, seeing the second flash of the eyes. It comes back, and then suddenly he shouts to Mel, "Mel, jump! Jump behind! Backwards! Now!"
And if I hear that, I would question it, but I would do it. Like what?
After how many times of him defining the jump do you actually jump? Did he just call it like super early and you're like waiting for him to finish? Oh,
I think about the second or third one. I'm like, okay, he must be on to something. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I'll jump back 5 feet. Like,
and exactly at that point does the construct start swinging his great club.
narrowly missing me. I still draw Abigail. I'm like, hey man, what's going on here?
Well,
The
I'm not an
construct
engineer.
locks eyes with you and seems a bit confused, and then looks around the room, even more confused, and then slowly his eyes turn from a red over an orange to a blue as he seems to calm down a bit, before looking down at himself and be like, what is this body? Where am I?
Literally the hell. But I was distracted with
As
putting
my
stuff on there.
as my two associates here seem to be stunned by the brilliance of my engineering, let me introduce myself. Um, my name is Gemini, though you may call me Jim, and I am the last remaining lieutenant of the Caged Duke, and I just gave you a new form after you. I honestly don't know how you died. I mean, Ashy just told me that he had a gem lying around, and I told him that I have the body lying around. So, yeah, you probably have to ask him.
Yeah.
But
He had
I'm
the chocolate,
assuming,
I had the peanut butter. Like,
yeah, but I'm assuming you would also know, in a way, how you died.
Yeah, I mean, if we're doing the thing that we discussed, Sherbot's just gonna hold his head and be like, "Fucking hell! I, I, I don't remember much. The only thing I remember is that I was on a battlefield before I died. So many times over and over again." You see that his eyes are like kind of flashing red a bit. Not like a full rage again, but like slightly going towards that as he is very angry with his current situation.
yeah. Yeah, Mel will lower Abigail from a firing position to a more just ready position and back up towards Arhan. Not really knowing what to make of this display.
Well, I suppose we. Can I call you sir? Talking to the construct.
What do you say?
Uh, may I call you sir? May I presume you are male?
He looks at you. Yes, I mail you. My name's Sherbot. Sherbot Doyle. It's nice to meet you. I guess. Not the circumstances I expected to see anyone again, but it sure is something.
Can't say it was a circumstance that I wish to meet anyone in either. Slowly put back up my crossbow.
Well, um,
You see that he's like slightly twitching, like he's trying to hold himself back very much.
well, Mr. Doyle, I am Arahant. My name is Arahant. Arahant Cerulean. And if I may be so bold to inquire, you just said you died, or you had the memory of dying over and over again. Would it perchance be by 2 stab wounds?
That is a question I have to ask Jan, because I don't think it was just 2 stab wounds.
The stab here, and a stab there, and a stab.
No, it was not 2 stab wounds. Astoundingly.
He says, no, I was in the battle with some sort of creature. I can remember this very clearly. They swung with an axe towards me. At first, I only went down, but they just kept on chopping at my body until all the pain subsided to death. But I saw it over and over again. Don't know how many times. It's been ages since I saw anything else.
That's very unfortunate. Very painful also, I suppose.
Um,
But I'm glad to not be constantly reliving those last 2 minutes anymore. I guess it's time for me to get back to my work. So, where am I? How can I get back to the Tyrant City? I think I have a job to do there. Still working on some cases.
Do we know what city he's talking about?
the Tyrant City is
Oh, sorry, Tyrant City.
the Tyrant City is basically the name for one half of the Infernal Plane.
Well, I hate to tell you, kid, but you're pretty far from home.
He looks at you and grips his club a bit stronger. Say that again. Call me kid one more time.
You have to excuse him. It's um, a form of speech.
I see. I guess I'll excuse this transgression for once. Well, either way, he like stretches himself a bit and you just hear like metal clanking. Jesus Christ, this is not what I'm used to as he looks at his body. I guess you were the one that made this? And he looks at the guy that brought them down there and pulled the thingy-madoohickey.
Yep, all my work. Isn't it great?
He looks at the craftsmanship and is like, I could have done better, but you're alright with it.
You know, for a brand new Warforged, they usually take like 10,000 gold for a brand new Warforged body, and I made this one with materials for only about like 200. So I would say it's a
Yeah, that
masterpiece.
explains a lot. He like, I think that explains a lot, and he like kneels down and punches the ground as hard as he can. And it's like, yep, not even close to as strong as back then, but I guess it's something. Please don't tell me I have to pull this thing every time I go to sleep.
Maybe.
He's run out of juice in the day.
Swear to God, if I shut down and every time it happens, someone has to pull that thing and they just leave me behind, I swear to God.
Well, I'm not much of an engineer or an artificer. I'm I'm more taught in the ways of the arcane, but maybe the this good Sir Geminea has built you with a automatic shutdown device, maybe.
As you say that, he like looks around the room a bit more and looks at Mel's crossbones like, I mean, there we go. We have a crafter here that at least knows the basics. I assume that you'll be able to help me at least put the things I need inside myself whenever I need to make an upgrade.
You get like the sternest glare as you admonish his craftsmanship. If I'm feeling it, then yeah.
I mean, judging by that crossbow, your technology is a bit outdated, but besides that, you seem to be doing a good job.
El thinks real hard about just showing him how outdated this crossbow is.
Arhant is putting his hand on the shoulder of Mel, patting him and saying, "Well, keep it calm, Mel. Keep it calm. It's to try to imagine, and if possible, that you would that you died and that you relived or was really reliving that moment of your death over and over and over again, and then suddenly you are back to you're dreaming it and you're back to reality. Well, that's the you would be confused. Well, I suppose that that's what is happening with this poor man. With
The heavy sigh. Again, if I'm feeling it, I'll take a look.
Have fun. And Jim interrupts the conversation. But by the way, have I told you of the alarm function? It's great. You actually
He looks at Jim and is like, "You're shitting me, right?"
you know, when you want to go to sleep, you just there on the side you can just use that gear, and by turning it you can adjust the duration, let's say for 10 hours, and when you press that button you will be woken up in 10 hours.
And if there's an emergency and I need to wake up earlier,
then you're screwed.
don't expect me to help in an ambush at night.
So I'm looking at self-pulling lawnmowers and trying to think of how to apply that in a medieval setting.
Well, it doesn't much matter right now.
I think you might be able to actually connect that thing with that alarm thing with an actual alarm spell.
Let me think here. And you essentially just see a roll of text scrolled by Sherbot's eyes, and he's like, "Oh, that sucks. I don't know that spell." Or at least I seem to not be able to use it.
I don't have any foot in the game as far as spellcraft, but my friend here could do so.
Sherbot looks at Arahan. "Oh, and here I just thought you were a nerd. What can you do?"
Well, I'm I am a wizard. I'm a
He's
trained
wizard.
I was about to make the same joke.
I am a wizard, but and also a person of a more religious bent, although that's only recent. But considering or concerning the alarm spell, Although I do know that it exists, unfortunately, I have not written it down into my spell book.
Ah.
But
So
if I have access, if I could have access to a spell book or other spell books, or maybe spell scrolls, then I could impart that knowledge in your. I was about to say your matrix or your database, but um, I could impart it into your systems. But therefore, I would have to need have some access to the spell itself.
well, it would be lovely if you could help me. I myself, I bow slightly and say, I'm an artificer by trade. However, my job itself is to be a detective. So, I tend to be viewed as one of the more aggressive bunch. It seems that my temper is quite thin sometimes.
When the problem persists, you knock it down.
When there's something strange in the neighborhood, I punch it in the fucking face.
Hmm.
Right.
So, you're talking about spell scrolls. Reminded me of something. Ashley also wanted me to hand you these, and he pulls out 3 spell scrolls that also, with basically some gears and a frame on the side, have an arm with a pen attached to it, just on the side of them. 3 of my patented self-rewriting spell scrolls.
Oh.
Self-rewriting spell scrolls? He has a patent on those as well?
So
There's a patent office in the material plane?
Hey, not all of them can be zingers. You gotta hash through them.
You know, I'm just gonna look at him and say, well, that's a shame. I hoped it would be open source.
I will assure you nothing from where I guess we
What?
come from.
well, if there are 3 spell scrolls, could first of all, could Arahant ascertain which spells they are, or which spells they
They
represent?
are disguise self, and disguise self.
Okay.
The three-peat.
Oh yeah,
But like, because like the lore of like spell scrolls, like they're self-scribed by different wizards, so you got like different jargon for each person describing how to do disguise self.
yeah. So there's also an issue that some might have with casting spells that are not in their professional purview, let's say. Um, if you are one of those people, we actually, I have actually attached a brand new function to these, and I call it the plastic reader.
Is that something like plastic surgery?
No, it's literally the Microsoft Plastic Reader. Wait, is it called something different in English?
I think so. What do you call it in German?
Plastischer Reader.
I have no idea what that even is.
That's
what's it
like the
do?
function that Windows has where it can just read text for you.
Oh. I know what you mean. I know what you
Speech
mean.
technology.
It's called the plastic reader. It actually is.
I just don't know.
Wait, it obviously is because I have that function on this PC and this PC is in English and I have read it in English. Okay. Yes,
PC
but
lingo that I don't understand.
anyway. So basically, if you can't read the scroll by yourself, you can have the scroll read itself for you. So it's not only a self-writing scroll; it's also a self-reading scroll.
It's a speak and spell.
Because this guy self is on the list of the wizard, is on the wizard spell list. Being a wizard, normally Arahant would be able to read it and copy it himself.
Yeah.
I'm so disappointed you guys didn't get my joke there. Like a speak and spell toy, and we're talking
I
about
know
spell
all about
scrolls.
it.
Okay. What? That was like a double, whatever the hell that thing's called.
I'm just joking. It was all right. Actually. Just pulling your leg, mate.
But continue. Sorry.
Yeah. So that should probably get you in where you want to get in. But yeah, I think that's that's my part of the deal done. So if you don't want to stay the night, then
What time of day is it right now?
it's actually still in the afternoon.
Okay. How long was our carriage ride here?
It was maybe 4 hours or 5.
Okay. So walking that would be like what?
The
12 to 16 hours, something
the
to that
chauffeur
effect.
just said to you where he said to you he would wait for you basically in the next village.
And would that distance be further than what we traveled to begin with, or is it nearby?
No, it's nearby. It's like one of the villages on the road to where you came from.
Okay.
That's the idea.
I got you. Got you.
So
Yeah, I mean, otherwise, yeah. I might mingle with the host for a minute and talk about his manufactory as well as different crafting benches and such, but otherwise head on our way.
yeah, he offers you roasted chicken, which he prepares by putting it in a metal box, turning and flipping a few things, and pulling it out almost not burnt. Like it's burnt, but it might still be edible.
Never seen food prepared in such a fashion.
Yeah, it's quick.
By the way, real quick question: did Arahant and Mel introduce themselves to Sherbot?
Arahant did.
Arahant did.
Mel doesn't like you, so it'll take him a minute.
Sherbot is gonna look towards Mel and say, "Hey, second level craftsman."
He ignores you and continues talking with Jim.
Jim.
Jim. Yeah, sorry.
Hello, second grade craftsman. Sherbot's like gonna reach into his pockets. Look what he has.
He's and Arhant will go to Sherbot and say, his name is and no, I will have to
Mel.
see. Yes, but what was it?
What's
Is
my
it
last name?
No. Your last name I know, Stonegazer. But Mel, was it a? Was this your name, or was this a shorter version of a longer name?
I just
Mel.
mailed my name.
It
Oh, I
was,
go by at least. I'm not giving you a longer name. That's just what I
okay.
go by.
Just now. Well, Arhant would say then he's called that person is called Mel Stonegazer.
Yeah, I don't think that's the issue. Ah, yeah, one sec. He pulls out a pipe and throws it to the back of Mel's head and just shouts, "Hey, Mel!"
Angrily, he'll turn. What?
Jesus, I think we got off on the wrong foot. Do you have a bag or something like that? I want to help you out with something. Fucking hell. Damn wannabe craftsmen and their fucking ego.
He slowly comes up to you and presents a little bag.
He snatches it out of you. Sherbot snatches it out of your hand and goes into the corner of the room. Give me a bit.
Mel just scoffs and just walks off, just kind of like shaking his head and grumbling.
And in his corner, Arhant is placing his hands or his right hand before his eyes, rubbing them, and then looking up and as if asking to, well, in his case, the catfish, why must I always be grouped with children, with people who behave like children? Why? What have I done? What have I done you wrong, oh great one?
By the way, Mel, what was all in that bag?
Nothing. I emptied it.
Okay, good, because else it would have been emptied on the ground by now. I would like to use a replicate magic item to turn the mundane bag into a bag of holding, please.
You do that. There's no thing required for that, right?
Yeah, no, it literally doesn't say anything. It doesn't even say that it requires any time, but I'll just say that it requires time because that would be much too overpowered.
Yeah,
Doesn't
just you can
infuse
only touch
item
so
just-
many objects.
Does infuse item just say something about time taken? No, it's just touching it. Okay.
Yeah, just you can only do so many in a day or per rest or something. You can change them up per rest, but otherwise, yeah, it's just touching them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll just turn it into a bag of holding, and as soon as it's done. Wait, how much does a bag of holding weigh? Was it like 15 pounds?
I think it just weighs the same as the bag. Whatever.
No,
bag
it's
you-
a bag of holding has like a fixed weight. Yes.
Oh, really?
Very shit
Yeah,
has a
and it
fixed
doesn't
weight.
change by how much is put into it. That's right.
Yeah, I figured that. Yeah.
It's like
Back in Pathfinder was 25 pounds.
yeah,
I
it's
remember.
over. It's 15 pounds.
Right. So as soon as I'm done, while Mel is still talking to the guy that built me, I'm just gonna walk up behind him and throw this 15-pound bag at the back of his head and be like, "Here, be thankful, ass dick." Now you have something to store your science project in.
Okay, I guess if I put stuff in there, kick room my tools. I'm trying to think how he'd react to it. Probably just go get some air.
Sherbot is then gonna look over at Arahan and be like, Arahan, was it, right?
Yes, that's my name.
What would you prefer, a bag of holding or something that can tell you when there's a freaking magic door?
Hmm. Um. Well, both options are quite interesting. Although I do have uh, several spells that would help me identify hidden doors. I do not have a spell for that would grant me storage capabilities. So I would go for that for your offer for the bag of holding, if you please.
Can a bedroll fit in the bag of holding?
I think it has like quite a lot of space inside of it.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, it has a lot of space.
Well,
You can-
it's the opening. Can it fit the initial end of a bedroll? Is what I was thinking.
It's stretchy.
Yeah, it should. It should.
Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, I would like to also make a bag of holding for Arahan.
It's not the size of a pouch. You have to see it as the size of a. I have always seen it as the size of a kind of a backpack, but then with a instead of putting it on your back, you have it with a bandolier around your shoulder and torso.
Okay, I think I've sorted everything that needs stuff in there because obviously I would keep my weapons on me.
1 sec.
Yeah.
Eventually need to upgrade to half plate. It'll save me another £5.
Sorry, I'm back.
So, if you are then finished with your item party, then
One moment.
I would bid you all farewell and greet Ashy for me.
Thank you for the bit of insight I was able to hash out with you over our brief discussion. And I'll be interested to talk more at length if I get the chance to come by this way in the future.
The bag of holding could hold up to 25,000 gold pieces. So
Gotcha. Yeah, it was like I said, it was literally the opening of the bag of holding.
Yeah, because the opening is like 2 feet in diameter.
Yeah.
it's exactly 25,199 gold pieces.
Interesting.
Yes, I'm a weird guy. sometimes I do the math for.
Yeah. I would
never.
say as you are leaving the house, we would do.
If I may, before we leave, after Sherbet has given the bag of holding, Arhant would thank him in his usual polite manner and with the necessary civility that everyone is used when I'm playing Arhat. So that was what I wanted to say. I would have thanked
Yes.
Sherbet.
And what I was saying is, with you leaving the house, I would do a break here.
All right.
Right now, I have 20
now sound is live and visual is live. And I think that token is a little bit too big still. Hey, it actually has the same background color as your Discord. It literally fits and seems. Wait, it's a cutout background. No, it is not. Is it? It is. I'm an idiot. No, nothing. I totally didn't. I totally didn't just derp hard.
Derp hard, play hard.
Yeah, I was thinking as derp hard being like the comedy parody of Braveheart, but works
That
as
works
well. Yeah.
Don't worry, we all know that you are sometimes a bit back in the woods, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. And speaking of back in the woods, you left the house and now are back in the woods.
I assume I don't recognize this place at all. I think I spent most of my life in hell, right?
Yep.
Literally and figuratively.
So, where are we going? What are we doing?
Well, and we are working for a duke who went into voluntary exile from the Tyrant City. So
He
maybe
looks up a bit. Sherbot looks up a bit with a raised eyebrow. What's the name of that duke?
His Grace calls himself Ashworth.
Would that ring a bell to me, DM?
Actually not.
He's looking at. Sherbot looks at the two of you a bit confused and says, "You sure he was a duke? Like back in the day? Because like last time I've seen the Tyrant City, it was kind of, at a war."
Well, that's information we got from him. So I do not have any other basis to confirm or discredit what he's saying. But so we are working for His Grace, in the sense that there is I will not say small problem, but there is a problem with a demonic cult that is that is devoted to the demon lord Akishigal, and it's being his minions are plaguing the material plane where you are now, and His Grace has asked us to investigate the matter and to see for any way, if possible, to fix it.
Well, that seems quite simple enough. What clues do you have up until now?
Well, for the moment, what do we have as clues? We knew that roaches were farming, and with farming I mean just like ants, collecting everything that was organic. And that recently the city of Berg had some issues with spoiled food being sold to its inhabitants, and the mayor of Berg being punishing and then banning all the all the merchants and the guild houses, and making them, basically shutting them down. We do know that, or we do not know. We suppose that the mayor of Berg must be in league with the cult of Akeshigal, because when we investigated it earlier on and started to ask questions to the guard, we were thrown into prison. And let's say that, well, not let's say, we escaped the prison, so we are, Mel and I, and a few of our other companions that have all fled into the countryside, are for the moment fugitives, or considered fugitives in Berg. Hence the fact that we have been given scrolls to disguise ourselves, or at least to cast the spell Disguise Self. And that's about it. So we are investigating the manner why. I will quickly read my notes again.
Alright.
So he wants us to investigate the matter of why the guild houses have been shutting down, or have been shutted down, and if there is indeed a connection between, or a link between the actions of the mayor itself, and the cult of Akishigal, and also trying to figure out what the cult of Akishigal is doing, or trying to do.
I see.
That's it.
Well, that seems quite a simple matter. Let's just go in and take over the city.
What do you mean, take over the city? As in conquering it?
Yeah, just kill everyone who's opposed to us.
They might have an objection with this course of action. I am not a violent. I am not violent by nature, and I do not condone violence. Most of it.
You get used to it after a while. Trust me, the blood first sets in after like the 10th kill.
But on the other hand, if, and I'm speaking hypothetically, if we were planning on conquering a city like Berg, the three of us will not be enough. We will need an army.
Didn't you say that the person you're working for is a duke? Just ask them for their army. This seems to be quite a simple matter of just killing everyone who's opposed to us.
I think we're trying to apply a bit more subtlety than that. Not everyone that would be opposed to us is necessarily in it for the cause, more so just working as any other man.
I mean, I see your point. I see your point. Maybe we can just torture them. That seems fairer.
The point is, we're going to try to hit it at its source, hit the head of the operation, clean up what we can, let the other ones scatter.
Well, I can if I want to, I can start reading minds. So
You can read minds?
yes.
Try me.
Okay. And he's saying Arhant is starting to take his spell book, flapping a few pages, finding the spell detect thoughts and is starting to make the necessary incantation. And you see that that there's a bluish white light starting to form around his hands. He makes a symbol and a sigil in the air that is translucent blue white in color, and then it disappears. So I'm using a second level spell slot, and I'm casting Detect Thoughts. And
I'm gonna intentionally fail to save if that's all right.
no, there is no. There is no. Well, there is a save if I want to really go deep into your thoughts and try to discover a piece of information. Then there is a save involved, and uh, save or fail, the spell ends. But if not, the spell has a duration of, I think, 10 minutes. No, 1 minute, and it allows me to detect the surface thoughts of people around me in a I think a 30-foot radius or a 60-foot radius.
Sherbot's gonna be thinking, oh well, okay, they're doing fine with my tests so far. Maybe I can actually work with these people, even though the craftsman is second grade at best.
Well, you suppose that we could be beneficial and that you could be able to work with us.
Interesting. He now thinks of cream pie.
You see a puzzling the face of Arhan becoming a bit puzzling. Cream pie? Is this your favorite food?
He smiles. Sherbot smiles and says, "Nope, that was just a little test to see if you're actually reading my mind, or if you're just saying things that seem obvious."
No, I am reading your mind, and also of all those around me.
Oh, you'll
So
just hear
I do
Mel.
not know what Mel is thinking, but I'm also reading his surface thoughts.
Yeah, Mel's just grumbling. It's like, it's big heap of scrap metal. Let me find made a concussion cap or some acid. Dipped the end of an arrow or a bolt in.
My
In that case,
apologies.
I'm gonna look and point over at Mel and say, "What's he thinking?"
My apologies. I just fell through my chair.
Have you ever heard of Weight Watchers?
Wow.
Oh wow!
It's an old chair.
That's what they all say.
I had to just replace mine not too long ago.
We're still online, so I will not disclose this information
About
to
your chair.
the few viewers we have.
Okay, no
Um,
secret chair lore.
Secret chair.
well, um, Arhant is saying, well, let's say that he is quite opinionated about you.
Ah, he
And
smiled over at Mel. I see you've accepted my superior craftsmanship.
Again, he just glares at you and then goes back to grumbling. And Arahant hears, maybe if I could just cause his joints to rust, particularly around his mouth. We'll get this task done and then be done with him.
Well, and then after a minute, the spell ends and poof.
But yeah, otherwise Mel is keeping about 10 paces away from forgot your character's name. Sherbot. Just looking to try to get through this trek and get to the town, the outskirts of the town.
So, you make it back to that village without an incident. And from then on, into the waiting coach.
The coach going to be able to handle Sherbot? How much do you weigh?
Sherbot looks over at you and says, "Well, that's a good question. I mean, back in the day, I didn't weigh too much, but he literally like jumps a bit in the cart and like notices the wiggling of the cart. Is like around 286 pounds, I'd assume."
On the heavier side, but not as much as I thought. You must have used some pretty lightweight, or relatively lightweight for the purpose parts when he was making you.
I mean, he didn't replicate my penis, so I guess I'm 100 pounds lighter.
Wow. Wow.
Like 0 to 100. They'll just ignore it, like just turns and gets in his side of the carriage.
Just to, I think he would know it. Yes, he does. And then I do not know if both your characters know Celestial, but in Celestial, Arhant will once again cast his eyes upwards and say, "Really, what did I do wrong to the cosmos?"
Practicing for a choir or something? You getting kind of opery and
No, no, Mel. I'm just as a cleric of the great catfish of wisdom. I sometimes I have to pay some tribute and say some prayers or a short prayer or something like that. And because celestial is the language of, well, celestial beings, and you can state or say that a deity is a celestial being most of the times. That's why if I'm preaching, I'm more preaching to myself.
Nah, I understand. Looks out his side of the carriage. I assume it's like I'm on one side, Arhant's in the middle, and then Sherbot's on the left.
Yes, Arhant is trying to keep the two of them separated because
Sherbot's just gonna try to see if he can annoy Mel a bit more, and start singing in machine speech. You just hear him like slowly sit next to you. 4C65 6166 57320 6672.
If only we had medieval iPods for me to an MP3 player.
Just so you know, that was actually the beginning of Tears from the Vine, but in Hex. Which I will just say, that is freaking machine speech. I am not gonna change my point on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jan, when we were at the house of
House of Jim.
yes, of Jim. Would we have been there long enough for Arahant to at least write one of the scrolls down into his spell book?
I'd say yes.
I only need 2 hours to because it's not a spell that is from the divination list, so it's the full 2 hours to copy it. Of course, the scroll would vanish, being considered used, but we still have two other scrolls left.
Mm-hmm.
But he could those 2 scrolls could then be given to Shellbot and Sherbot, and with the other character of Shellrock again. So my apologies that sometimes I will make that connection, but
Oh, it's alright, I don't mind.
so the other 2 will go to Arahant will give one to Sherbot and one to Mel, and say, if you read, do not read it now, but if you read the spell that is on it, you will be able to change your appearance for a short while.
Sherbot looks at the scroll. How long is a short while?
Pom, 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 pom. I believe 1 hour.
That is a short while. Well, alright.
You know I don't do any of this spellcraft. But I'll,
Yes, I know, Mel, but if we're going into the city of Berg, probably because we escaped from prison and we were already on the bad side of the city guard and supposedly the mayor, it would be logical to assume that he would have wanted posters of us, at least of the both of us, and of Mo and the other members that were thrown into prison with us.
I guess that's fair.
So that would help us at least for 1 hour to give us an appearance as into whatever we want, as long as it stay confirmed to in our case a humanoid form.
All right. Use it to that discretion.
Wait, since I'm a construct, can I turn into a fridge?
I mean, fridges
No.
don't exist.
Yeah.
Well, you would have to take the guise of a uh, of a of some kind of race that is bipedal. You can also modify your height and your width and your girth a bit, at least visually. But physical inspection would fail.
Yeah, so don't make yourself like a little gnome or something, because then someone will bump into you.
Yeah, indeed. For example, you would make yourself if you're a thin man and you make yourself look like a quite rotund person, well, it's possible that someone who comes too close to you would go into your supposed rotund belly and discover that it's an illusion. So try to disguise yourself into something that is as close fitting to your own physiology as possible.
So thanks to that weird guy, I'm gonna be turning into a dad.
Well, it's maybe safe to assume that because you have been uh, non-active for a very long time, you that you are not known in Berg.
Oh, I would very much assume I'm not known. Haven't been in the material plane since... Never.
So you would not have need of of that scroll because there would be no way in what manner possible to link you with us as fugitives.
Nah, but he stands out a bit, so it could serve to make him blend in a bit more.
I was about to say, I kind of am a robot, you know?
Jan, how common or uncommon are Warforged in your world?
In particular in the city of Berg.
Very uncommon.
So Arhant would know that a Warforged would stand out quite a bit.
Yeah.
Well, yes, Mel, you're right. He would stand out. That's true.
I mean, I do have a remedy that I used back in hell. I just need some sort of bandit. And a knife.
Let me guess, terminating his life.
I don't have to terminate his life. He might survive me peeling his skin.
Yeah, I figured this was going like some Leatherface route.
Yeah, you see a shiver. You
You're
all of
talking
you
from
notice
a robot from
notable.
hell.
All of you noticeably see a shiver that goes over Arahant. And to say that I not so long ago I held a book that was made of flayed skin of a devil.
Where is the book? I mean, that could be useful.
No, it was trying to corrupt me. And by the way, it's given back into the care of His Grace because it was, or it is, his property to start with.
Ah, sad story. But hey, if you got corrupted, it's your fault.
Well, I'm not corrupted. I do not think so, at least.
From the front of the coach, you just hear the coachman say, "That's what someone who's corrupted would say."
Oh well.
I'm gonna look
And
at the coachman and say, my point exactly.
He's never done wrong by me, so I have no reason to suspect otherwise.
Yes, and with that, the coach arrives back at the manor.
okay, we leave the coach, and I say to I say to Sherbot, well, welcome to the manor of His Grace.
Does it ring any bells yet?
No.
All right. I'm gonna just look it up and down and say, seems impressive.
Although I guess, seeing the manor, you would actually recognize a lot of the symbology.
What do I recognize it as?
Because, like, the way, like, that, on the front of the gate, there's already the centipede shape, and it's basically exactly the symbol of the Archduke known as Acer Servetus.
Acer Servetus.
Yes, written in a way that's barely pronounceable for humans.
All right. I look around and I'm like, oh, this seems familiar. I'm gonna put my hands to my mechanical mouth and shout, Acer Servetus, you in there?
Oi.
Um, a
Is there a
butler,
response?
a butler comes storming out and immediately opens the gate and is like, "Hey, you're not supposed to say that. Come in."
Oh, are you telling me it's him? Oh my god, it's been... Well, I don't fucking know how long. I'm gonna follow the butler inside.
Yes, the inside of the manor looks the same as it has looked the last time. I mean, it's a house. It doesn't really change that much.
Just locations.
Yeah. um, and the Duke, as always, welcomes you. And to Sherbot, he says, "So, you know, if I didn't know that you know that I know."
Oh, don't worry. I know that you know that I know that you know that I know.
Yes. Then there are some interesting places that this door can lead you to.
For example.
I mean, you could have just walked into a pool full of alligators.
Well, that seems like a neat trick right there.
Yeah.
Assy.
So, how about you you don't use that name in public anymore?
All right, if it's you, mate.
I am
But
not your...
you owe me something for this. But don't worry, you just owe me being allowed to call you mate.
I...
Just let me feel like I belong into royalty for once. I mean, I was just a detective back in the day. Just let me have this at least. And if you
You
agree, my lips are sealed.
Deal.
Great to hear, mate.
So... I guess we're mates now. So, mates, it's,
Excuse me.
it's time to, it's not time to. It is time to. It's time to go to Berg.
I don't know. It's about to insert the do.
All that. It could also be that time.
Depends on if I use the name again.
Nah, pretty much.
Yep. But yeah, I hope you're prepared, or I guess it's really getting dark outside. How about you stay the night again?
This would
Be
be a
most
nice
appreciated.
You are led to the same rooms as last time. Sherbot, the door handle in your room smells like burnt skin a little bit.
I'm gonna sniff it a bit and say,
Oh, it's just like
it's
home.
like home.
Yeah.
Yes, and
Mel is happy for the peace and quiet.
after getting your or actually getting your night's rest, there's you're having the dream again, Arahant.
Of
No.
course.
Yeah. So
No rest and peace and quiet for poor Arahant.
yeah. This time you are pushing a minecart full of ore
Okay.
through a forest, as from behind one of the trees, the same man jumps out with a sword in hand and holds the sword to your throat before taking his face off like it's a mask, revealing this underneath the same face again, and then stabbing himself twice. Then you wake up.
Can you repeat that last part? So he jumps out.
He jumps out, takes his face off. His face is the same person as pushing the cart.
No, he takes his face off, and underneath, like, it's the same face again.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And then he stabs himself twice.
I am cursed. I am cursed. I am cursed. I'm
Yeah.
the plating. I'm the plating of high beings. I mean, hey. Well,
Everyone wants a piece of Arhan.
Yeah.
Everybody hates Arhan.
And then you wake up.
I was hoping that maybe the becoming a convert to the catfish, that his divine influence would help him shield a bit against things like that. But
Who's to say he's not the one implanting a few to help guide you along the way?
who knows? Oh well, so the same.
Yeah.
I'll grab myself something to drink real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah, you wake up. Like you all.
Oh, hold on. Does Sherbot wake up?
Oh yeah. Oh. Okay. First you two wake up. Then we talk about Sherbot.
Alright, I can stay here for a moment longer.
So did you actually set your alarm?
Wait, you said it was on my side, right?
Yeah.
I would have set my alarm, but not knowing how long to set it for, I would have just turned it a couple of times. Like,
Okay.
I would have assumed that, like, one full turn would be an hour, so I would have just turned it, like, 8 times.
Nice. So.
He remains deactivated for several weeks.
Well, a full turn is a day, so good
So,
job!
you wake up at the crack of noon. Um.
If I would wake up at the crack of noon, I'll be right back and grab myself something to drink while
Yeah.
they do the morning things.
The other two wake up way earlier. What do you guys do when you wake up?
I mean, I presume we're going in the Berg, so just do my polish and oiling of Abigail, and otherwise getting my affairs in order, and then heading out to see what the others are into. Probably see an Arahant as soon as he decides to come out of his room.
Arahant will go to the to the washing bowl, pours some water from a water jug, splash his face several times, and looking at himself in the mirror, looking at himself and thinking of why, why, why will it ever end? And then he will clean himself up, dress himself, and leave his room to take some breakfast.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Give me a perception check.
Okay. Perception was perception, and the P, of course.
Yes.
It's a
While getting dressed up, or after getting dressed up and walking out of the room, looking in the, like glancing past the mirror, you could have sworn you saw that man standing behind you. And then you look at the mirror again, and he's not there.
Arahant would instinctively look behind him,
No, not there.
and then back to the mirror.
Also not there.
And then I walk up.
He shivers.
Sleep all right?
Oh, Mel.
Yes.
Please. Oh, I almost passed out of heart failure.
Oh, should I do it? Should I do it?
What? Let me pass out of.
Definitely could.
Well, Mel takes off his face and it's the man again, and then you wake up.
So Mel takes off his face and it's the man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
puts
takes
my hand
away
on
from
his
your
shoulder.
dreams. And then you wake up again.
Well, he will wake up with a scream.
Now,
A very
Mel,
loud
upon hearing that,
scream.
would like be at his door. Hey, Doo, 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 doo. Everything okay in there?
Be gone.
Rattling the door. Open up,
No.
Arahan.
How do you know my name?
Mechanical snoring in the background.
It's me. It's Mel. Hear some tinkering with the doorknob for a minute before it pops off.
Well, if, if you start tinkering with the thing and then you pop it off.
After- Yeah.
And fortunately, I do not need my spell book for this. If you enter the room, you see Arahant with a fire around his left hand, ready to assault you with a firebolt. Because cantrips are memorized, so without a spell book, a wizard could only cast his cantrips.
Still holding the doorknob, as well as some of my tools. What are you doing? Are you okay?
Are you inside the room?
Like, somewhat came into it. I didn't rush into it.
Okay.
Like, I came in enough, saw that you were like tensed and had a fireball in your hand. Then went to defuse the situation.
He puts out the fire. My apologies, Mel. I had a nightmare. At least I think it's a nightmare. It's a recurring thing. It's something that I've had for the last couple of weeks.
Was cleaning up Abigail, and I heard you scream and came over to see what was up wrong. Thought you'd been attacked by something in the night or something.
Well, I might have been. I dreamt of a person, always the same person that is either fighting or dying with stab wounds, and right now I had a similar dream, but somewhat different. I woke up. At least I thought I woke up. I freshened up and I went to go to breakfast, and I encountered you in the hallway. and you were asking me uh, uh, how I was doing, and then suddenly you pulled off your face and showed, and beneath your face was the face of the person I've been seeing in my dreams. And then I woke up again, screaming.
Mel will put his tools in the hand with the doorknob and like grab his face and like tug on it. Attached right here. It's Mel. And then proceed to start working on the door to put the doorknob back in. Once I get this done, I'll give you a minute to get yourself in order, and then we can go get some breakfast.
Yeah.
I must find a way to shield my mind.
After getting it back in place, I'll close the door and walk off to go wait on Arhan to get ready himself. I
Arhan,
stop for a minute to knock on Sherbad's door and then just don't. Just keep walking.
tuk, tuk.
No, don't even knock. I start to do the motion and then shake my head and then just go down to the breakfast.
Okay.
So, you walk down there.
Arahant is gingerly looking into the mirror with great suspicion.
Give me a perception check. You don't see anything.
He freshens himself up.
I mean, you obviously see yourself, but nothing suspicious.
That would be troubling.
He
I
doesn't
don't
see
my own
himself.
reflection. What?
You're a damn peer now.
Yes.
Congratulations, you've gained a template of a vampire.
My life was all an illusion.
So, you have your breakfast, and
Because it's a new day, I will roll my new Portent dice.
and shortly after you finish your breakfast, there is a mechanical clank being heard from upstairs. Updoors is not a word, I think. Is it?
I mean, it's two words.
It
I don't know if they necessarily go together, but
I mean, updoors could refer to the room behind a door. Maybe.
I mean, if you're like 8, then sure.
I mean, upstairs is behind the stairs, updoors is behind the doors. Makes sense.
I'm going to use my updoors bathroom next.
I mean,
My girlfriend's little cuz.
I would hope that your bathroom is updoors because, you know, it's supposed to. Anyway. It's kind of weird to have a bathroom without a separating door in your room. Yeah.
If you live outside of New York.
So. Oh yes, what actually happens upstairs, behind the door? So it's basically upstairs doors.
Oh God.
That's out of Sherbot pops a little creature that just
A little what?
a little creature Yeah.
You're a golden goose, except you make weird creatures.
Um.
Or it could be a homunculus. Who knows?
I hope it is. I mean, I can make those.
But that's why I'm saying it. You can call
Kinda.
it Dio if you want.
It looks like someone took a lemur. You know, those like
Yes.
lowest of low devils, not the monkey.
Ah, okay.
I like lemurs. They're cool.
Then shrunk it down to tiny size, and then somehow turned it into a very cliche looking cyborg with like half its face now being made out of metal and stuff. And it just jumps out, goes to the ripcord, and just pulls it before going back into, or just pulls it until Sherbot starts, and then just goes back into the hatchet, or into the hatch, not hatchet. Goes back into the hatch and closes it.
So instead,
Sherbot's gonna like stretch a bit. Oh, that was a good night's shutdown.
instead of a powder monkey, you have a rip monkey.
Do you have a problem with my rip monkey?
I don't know if you're rip monkey. It's a rip lemur, but
Yeah? Oh, I should actually not change the size of that, should I? Eh.
I mean, I'm over 6 feet tall. I think a small creature can fit inside me. I have a big belly.
No, I was talking about my chat in World 20. Because it just
Oh.
fucks with the whole interface. So I should not zoom there. Not with the whole, but just... I was wondering where the weird additional line came from. Yes, but you are now all awake.
no. Me and Arhant are down eating breakfast.
Yeah? What does Sherbot do?
Head downstairs as well now that he woke up and look around and see if he can find the others.
Yeah, they are
If I
sitting.
remember correctly, Warforged don't have to eat, do they?
No.
No sleep, no eat, no need to sleep, eat or drink. They, however, they can, if they want, eat and drink, but they don't need to.
Do they actually need to breathe? I also don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you don't need to eat, drink, or breathe.
DM.
Yes.
While having breakfast, Arahant would be very, very silent because he would try to he's starting to switch over in wizard mode, and he would try to start analyzing and deconstructing the entire dream, and then trying to based on well, the dream that he had now and the former dreams and the fact that it changed, trying to, would there be a way that he could make sense of it, or find a how would I put it?
Connection?
Yeah, a connection, a kind of sense, trying to figuring out what what is the meaning of that dream. If it is it something prophetic, or more a jumble of memories that his mind is trying to give a certain logic to it. So he's starting to analyze his dream.
Give me another investigation.
Part also as a kind of a self catharsis for himself. Okay, here we go. Investigation.
You
18.
you're pretty sure that all of those are from your memories, like you you saw that man before. You're pretty sure you were at that forest before.
Mhm.
That also seems familiar. And even the specific tree he jumped, he came behind from, seems very familiar. And now you remember something. That was the tree where that cultist priest person was leaning against Dad with 2 stab wounds in his chest.
Mhm. The one who used a charm magic to get himself out of his
Yeah.
cell and put the jailer in his
Yeah,
place.
and the face you saw in your dream was the face of the jailer.
Ah. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. I'm wondering if I want to leave it at this or continue on for like one scene, basically.
Well, it's European time. It's 10:30.
I think we'll do one more scene, one more thing. Yeah. So, you're then you're actually not taking the Duke's private chauffeur towards Burke. He just basically hands you money for transportation or for like any type of carriage, cart, whatever, just to rent something. Yeah.
Okay.
Um. So with the money you take, you drive by wagon down to the city of Berg, and you are now kind of on the outskirts, like close enough to the city of Berg to like maybe see to like already see the gate.
Bog's gonna point at the gate and say, "That's this bird you were talking about?"
Yes, it is.
Should we go ahead and disguise up?
Do you want to take it by assault?
Do we want to what?
Arahant says to Sherbot, "Do you want to take it by assault? I mean the gate."
He looks the gate up and down and says, I need a bit more preparation to take this town down, but someday.
That's why you should
Siege.
always carry a portable ram.
Siege engines would be helpful with such an endeavor.
That is a fair point, but I have something even better than a siege engine. And I pull out a hammer.
Oh well, if we ever need to forcefully open a door, I can use magic to do it. Although it would be quite audible. But we would open it with a bang, literally.
I mean, I'm not too bad with thieves' tools, so.
Ah, more furtive approach.
So you want to disguise up?
Yeah, because we're going to get checked at the gate.
Sherbot is not gonna disguise up. He's just gonna tip his hat down to like conceal his face a bit, so it just looks like he is just a guy in heavy armor.
Okay.
And Arahant will look in his spell book, start to recite the spell, make the sigil and another sigil.
Give me a dex save.
A dex save. A dex save. Okay.
Yeah.
What the hell? Here we go. I can always use my.
I swear to God,
I-
I'll just start shooting at us and shouting, "Stop resisting!"
No. No.
I will hit. It is not a 6. I roll a 18 plus 2, which means a 20.
Yeah. You almost accidentally activated or formed a part of the rune for the spell to read itself. But it thankfully managed to move out of it. Yeah, very important dex save, I know.
What was the DC?
It was just a 10.
I,
Oh, okay. What about to say?
I thought
Yeah, but
he wrote the spell in his spell book.
yeah, like even in like the copied version, there's like in the way to move your hands, you seem to have actually copied a way to make the spell read itself. But
Oh my God! You now have the text-to-speech spell.
No. But yeah, I'm going to have Arahan walk me through using the scroll and then disguise myself.
Yeah.
And Arahant will take the guise of an old man.
If you're going for
long-
old man,
with a long-
I'm going to go with like a
Wait.
farm.
As you are not an actual caster with the disguise self spell on your spell list, you actually have to let the scroll read itself for you to actually be able to use it.
I can't work in concert with Arahant. Basically, like repeating what he's saying or doing.
Do I give me? Oh, do I allow? I don't think so.
Okay.
And as the scroll reads itself, you realize, if this thing casts a spell, if that thing casts a spell, like basically for me. I wonder how I will be able to choose my form, and at that point, you are now an elderly woman.
Okay, so we look like a couple now. There we go.
So you're a couple with a bodyguard. Seems to be a rich family.
Ah. Yeah,
Still have
indeed.
my decked out crossbow. It's like I'm an old lady with my decked out crossbow.
Exactly.
You better watch it, you flipper snappers!
I told you to stay out of my garden.
No, come along, my dear.
Perfect.
Let's not be rude to the younglings.
Say good night,
The
eh?
younglings! Anakin did the same thing!
Yeah, we'll figure it out as it goes. But okay, I'm an old lady now.
Grandma, why do you have such a big crossbow?
How the better to shoot you little shits with?
Yeah. And I think I then want to end it with you making your way into the city.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's going to be our names? What's our disguised names?
I was thinking Margaret and Margarethan.
I can go with Margaret. Yeah, I can go with Margaret.
Mel is Margaret?
Yep.
You
Okay.
could also go for Hildegard.
I like an M word the way I can remember it.
And Sherbot, your name is now?
Oh, he
I'll
didn't
just go with
transform.
my last name. I'll just go with Doyle.
Doyle, okay.
You know, you should have made your disguise name Shellrock, just to confuse our hunt even more.
That is a good idea. I'll make my disguise name Shellrock.
That's not confusing. Arhan, that's confusing the player.
Good thing. It feels good to be helpful sometimes.
Really? Up there? What's wrong with you?
Then,
I
There
will
is
dis-
no god, and
I
if
will
there is one,
disavow
it's
your
me.
fate if it continues. So Shellrock, okay, Shellrock.
yeah, then I would like you all to say goodbye to stream.
The other hunt would be Lovidicus.
And now, the end is near.
Yeah. Take it easy, stream.
So, thank you for watching.
Y'all.
And for all this for coping with all that madness that we bring time and again. Have a nice weekend. Until next time.
Bye.
Then, until the next one, have a good one, everyone.